No, it's completely expected. Kerry is a safe pair of hands. He's a safe pair of hands in terms of foreign policy. A lot of international leaders know him. The Russians know him. He's dealt with them in the past. He's pretty much seen as a realist.
But I suppose the smart money only about 3 or 4 months ago was on Susan Rice. Now, she was criticised for her handling of the attack on the embassy in Libya. That has put paid to her chances, hasn't it?
Yes. Effectively, Susan Rice was a political scapegoat. She really isn't the person to, in any way to blame for what happened in Libya in September. But the Republicans saw a target. A lot of them don't like her personally, so they took her down. That's why Kerry is a doubly safe choice, because from the domestic perspective, there's no way that Congress will vote against him. He served with them as a senator. The Republicans as well as the Democrats respect him, so he'll go through quite easily as the nominee.
And the concerns, I guess, were that if Susan Rice was nominated, the Republicans would definitely vote against her.
Well, exactly. And what's happened is that the Republicans, having taken one scalp in Susan Rice, are actually aiming not for Kerry. They're aiming for the proposed Secretary of Defense, a man named Chuck Hagel, arguing that he is too soft on Iran. So that's going to be the next battle, is whether President Obama backs Hagel to be the next secretary or backs away from that choice.
Now, stepping down is Hillary Clinton, of course. She's considered the most widely travelled U.S. Secretary of State in recent history. How would you assess her legacy?
Well, I think Clinton, as a pragmatist, has done quite well. I think, again, the Russians, dealt with her from the time that she talked about a reset in U.S.-Russian relations. Only earlier this month, she talked to Foreign Minister Lavrov about the Syrian crisis. And we could talk about numerous affairs where she's been prominent. In terms of being a policymaker, I think Clinton has a very mixed record. I don't think she really has done that much to change U.S. policy or really to deal with the changing problems that the Americans have in the 21st century, from the aftermath of the war in Iraq, which went so badly wrong, to the changing nature of the Middle East, to the changing nature of Europe, given that NATO is increasingly looking to be outmoded.
But in terms of that's the political side of things, but do you think under her stewardship she's improved the standing of the United States in the foreign community, especially after 2008 and 8 years of George Bush and the Republican Party? I
think that question on whether the U.S. standing has improved depends on who you talk to. Perhaps the Europeans would say that American standing has increased after the low point under Bush. But many people in, let's say, Afghanistan and Pakistan do not look favorably on the United States with the continuation of drone warfare and the continuation of instability. Many people in the Middle East do not look upon the U.S. as having done very well from the Israel-Palestine dispute, from their reactions to the Arab Spring, say, in countries like Egypt and in Bahrain.
Can we expect her to be running for the presidency next time round?
Absolutely. The only way Hillary Clinton does not run is if she has a major health scare before 2016.
Now, going back to Mr. Kerry, he's a decorated Vietnam veteran. He lost a close race to George W. Bush in 2004. And you say that he's a safe pair of hands. Do you think he's going to be influential in the key areas that the United States has to improve relations on, say, for instance, in Russia, with regard to the Palestinian question and so on?
I think he's going to be solid in terms of implementing U.S. policy. So I think if, the United States says, look, we want to make this initiative regarding the Russians, Kerry will be, easily implemented. I think the question beyond that is, can Kerry actually help define an American policy? Because what you really have is that there really isn't a sense of a grand strategy, from the Americans. President Obama came into office 3 years ago talking about engagement, talking about reaching out to Iran, reaching out to countries in Asia. But you really have not seen the United States take the lead. And even in the current Syrian crisis, I think that's a real issue of, well, what exactly do the Americans wish to achieve?